at every Republican convention since 1972. So that's quite the record. But I want to say to you tonight, I am aware of something that you may not know. Did you know that Jesus never ran for public office? You know how I know that?
How?
Because if he had ever run for public office, there would have been another beatitude in the New Testament. Blessed are the brief, for they shall be invited again. And I'm very aware that at a reception like this, honestly, the last thing anybody wants is any significant speech. In fact, I overheard a conversation Ronna was having with some of the key people at the RNC. They said, well, you know, we need somebody to make a few remarks at the reception. What do you think? They said, well, you know, we really don't want much. And one of the persons said, well, let's get Huckabee. He's about as close to nothing as we can possibly get. So that's how I got the invitation. By the way, these days, I'm not known for anything I've ever done politically. What I'm known for is that I'm Sarah's dad. That's it. Somebody actually gave me a shirt, and that's what it says on it, Sarah's dad. I used to get introduced with all these biographical pieces of information. Not anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sarah's dad. And it does look like she will be the next governor of Arkansas. And yes, I'm quite proud of her for that. I tell people, because they always ask, what are you doing in her campaign? I said, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm senior advisor. They said, really? That sounds impressive. I said, you bet it is. Now what that means is I'm a senior adult and I'm babysitting her kids a lot, and I advise them when it's time for them to go to bed. So that makes me a senior advisor to her campaign. It's a role that I personally cherish.
Okay. Yeah.
Now there's another role that I cherish, and that is I cherish being a Republican this year because I'm convinced that we've never had a better year to contrast our party and its platform and principles with the party of the crazy left. And that's what voters will decide just in a few months from now. And boy, did we ever give them something to think about. For those of you that think that this is a terrible time in our nation and things look really, really hopeless, I would suggest to you that actually I'm getting more and more optimistic by the month. Because what I'm seeing is that people are beginning to wake up to just how crazy far left the Democrats have led this country. Opening the borders, botching an exit from Afghanistan, raising taxes at a time when we can least afford it, that's going to hit working families really hard, denying the fact we're in a recession and redefining it just because it just doesn't fit their narrative as to how much they've screwed up this country. Throughout everything that it seems Joe Biden has touched, I can't think of one thing about which we can say, by golly, Joe, thanks for doubling our gas prices. Thank you, Joe, for making energy virtually unaffordable at every level. Thank you, Joe, for surrendering to the Iranians trying to get the Iran deal going again. Thank you, Joe, for going hand in hand with a little 5-gallon gas tank over to the Saudis to beg them for the very oil that we have under our own feet. If you'd have gone to Midland, Texas instead of to Saudi Arabia, you could have gotten some oil at a whole lot better price and put American stores rather than Saudi. And for the life of me, every time he speaks, I'm trying to figure out what the heck is he saying. And the only thing worse is when he finishes and he walks away and he conducts that ghost handshake with whoever it is that he's looking for behind the podium, and he walks over there. You've seen it. What is that about? Have you ever seen a person elected anything who thought that his personal aide was Casper, the friendly ghost, standing behind him? It's a bit embarrassing. But a lot of people are praying for Joe Biden. They really are. That's because backing him up is somebody whose speeches are worse than his, Kamala Harris. She just lost her speechwriter a couple of weeks ago. That was a revelation. Because I wondered, you mean somebody was writing that stuff? Are you kidding me?
I don't think so.
No wonder she left. She had a vocabulary of a total of 12 words and would give all 12 of them to Kamala Harris, and she would just circular her speech through the 12 words. This is a crazy time. But Republicans are winning across the country, and I believe we're going to win some seats in states that, frankly, even 2 years ago, certainly 4 or 6 years ago, we couldn't have won and we wouldn't have won. But let us not be weary in well-doing. Let's be very mindful that we can't just assume that we're going to win elections. Let's make sure that we work really hard and that we articulate our message in a way that the working class Americans that have historically voted for the Democrats realize they have a better choice this time. And that better choice is the Republicans. Because when we were in office and we had the White House and the Senate and the House, many of them were seeing at least $4,000 personal income advantage because of deregulation and tax cuts that affects everybody. This administration thinks that you just raise taxes and everything's going to be fine. They don't understand that when you tax people who are producing something, they just don't get to produce as much. And when they don't get to produce as much, what do? They lay people off. They don't buy as much, they don't build as much, they don't ship as much, they don't service as much, and a whole bunch of people at the bottom end of the economy lose jobs. It doesn't affect the people at the very top. Quite frankly, Elon Musk and Bill Gates are not going to have a significant change of lifestyle, even if taxes go up on billionaires. But the guy that's fixing cars at the auto repair shop, the person who's laying carpet, the person who is putting pipes in a new house as a plumber, the person who's wiring that house as the electrician, they're the ones who are going to suffer. And quite frankly, I'm ready for the Republicans to be unapologetically the champion of the people that the Democrats have long since forgotten about. I was one of those 16 people in 2016 that was on the stage that was obliterated and eviscerated by Donald Trump in the whole process of the primaries. I've told people, I said, I'm not bitter about it because I'm just so glad that he got elected and did exactly what he said he would do. Yep. Every single bit of the policies he said. I've been praying for years we'd move the embassy to Jerusalem from Tel Aviv, and he did it. I hope that we would have somebody who recognized the Golan Heights as part of Israel, and he did it. I wanted someone to actually seriously challenge China and the way that they've cheated in trade policies, and he did it. I wanted a president who really believed that we should secure the border and we should just simply obey the law, and he did it. I wanted to see somebody who honestly believed that if you cut taxes across the board, that everybody's income would go up, and that's exactly what happened. I wanted to believe that there was someone that believed that our military was and should be the strongest military on earth, and if it really was the strongest, you wouldn't have to pull the trigger with it every time. And he's the first president in a long time that did not get us in a war because everybody in the world was scared to death of it. I didn't care if they liked him. I just wanted them to respect him. And yes, to fear him. And there were some people, and this bothers me, there were some folks in our party who said, well, I don't like his tweets. Seriously? That's what bothers people, a tweet? What I was thrilled by was that policies that we had been praying for and begging for, including standing for the lives of unborn children, no president in our history has ever stood more boldly than he has. And regardless of whatever happens in the next few election cycles, we had a president who helped transform the Supreme Court, not to a conservative court, but to a constitutional court, which is all we ever wanted. Just follow the document. So I think we're maybe in a position for every cause to be optimistic about this year and in 2024. And I'm happy to be a Republican these days. I really am. And I think you are too. And I think we've got great candidates that are on the ballot this year. When I see these candidates from Illinois, and I'm thinking, wouldn't it just be absolutely wonderful if some of these Illinois politicians had to give a concession speech in November of this year? I cannot even begin to tell you how thrilling it would be to see them look with that shocked look of what just happened to me. Well, what just happened is America woke up and recognized that the policies of the radical left are not policies that our children and our grandchildren can live with. Now, Ronna was right about one thing. I'm not running for anything. Not now, not next term, not ever again. I'm going to help some people like my daughter and like a lot of people in this room. But there's nothing that would thrill me more than to be at some great victory parties along the way and to see some really fantastic people who get elected, who remember why they got elected, and stay true to their principles once they get there and are sworn in. I want to express my deep appreciation to all of you who serve on the RNC as committeemen, committeewomen, state chairman. You're the backbone of the structure of our party. This afternoon I had really an extraordinary privilege to visit with the debate committee, and one of the things that I said was, as Republicans, we need to recognize that the infrastructure that the RNC has created over decades and decades and decades of hard work is the track on which the train runs. And I've never once thought it inappropriate for the party to ask of those who are our candidates to say, we expect that you will follow the rules of the party, that you will uphold the principles and the platform of the party, for the simple reason that if you want to go out and create your own party, good luck. It won't work. So we got three choices. We can be Democrats, we can be Republicans, or we can be all by ourselves out there trying to create the whole thing. But if you're not a multi-billionaire, it ain't going to work. And if you are, it still isn't going to work because there are decades and decades of infrastructure that's been built. And you are the guys in this room who have built it, along with millions of volunteers from every one of the states in this country. I say thank you. A simple thank you. Because without you, we don't get to win elections. And when we don't win elections, we don't get to change the country. And when we don't get to change the country because we didn't win the elections, our children and our grandchildren suffer from the policies that take this country where Joe Biden has taken it in a very short 2-year period of time. Very short. We can do better. We have done better. And thanks to your help, we will do better in November this year and take everything back in 2024. God bless you and thank you. Have a wonderful